I've been using the AirPods Pro for 3 months, and this is what I think. So by now you've heard everything about the specs. I'm not going to reiterate all that. I'm just going to talk about my experiences using it, from the sound to battery to performance and features and all that good stuff. Okay, so first things first, I want to start by talking about the sound, because to me, that is the most important part of a wireless earbud. And so when I first put the AirPods Pro in and I started listening to music, I was pretty impressed, I have to say. I thought they sounded great. However, after having used them for a couple months, I just don't think they sounded as good as they first did when I first put them in my ears, primarily because I was comparing them straight off the bat with the original AirPods. And a couple factors went into the reasoning why I thought they sounded amazing the first time I put them in, because of the isolation from that in-ear bud and the active noise cancellation. That just blocked out so much of the external sound that I really was able to listen to the music and hear things that I wasn't able to previously on the original AirPods. However, over time, I just realized that they sound very neutral. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, I have to say. For a lot of people and a lot of styles of music, sounding neutral and sounding kind of boring is totally fine. I think it's really going to depend on the individual based on how you like your audio to be tuned. But for the most part, and for the most songs that I listen to, they sound pretty decent. And especially for spoken word and podcast, the active noise cancellation sounds great. I don't think that they are the best sounding wireless earbuds out there. There are plenty of other options. My current favorites are still the Sony WF-1000 XM3s. I just think that they sound so much better just straight out of the box than the AirPods Pro. One thing where the AirPods completely blow a lot of the competition out of the water though is in phone calls. Now, I've done a lot of blind tests between the AirPods Pro and a couple of other wireless buds on the market, and really the AirPods sound so much better both on my end and the person that I'm calling. There's just some magic that is at work there that just makes calls sound so much better. Other buds are not necessarily like terrible, but you can definitely tell a difference in a test when you're using the AirPods Pro. So if you make a lot of calls, I would definitely advise these ones. Now let's get into active noise cancellation, because that's the big part about why you pay $250 for these, is because it blocks out the external world. And I have to say, using them on my everyday commute, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's really good. I've tested it also out on a couple of flights, not long haul, just short hops of a couple of hours, and I've been very impressed. They're not as good as a dedicated over-ear set of headphones that do offer active noise cancellation, but honestly, most of the time, thanks to the size of these and how compact the case is and how compact the design is, I just end up choosing these for flights that are 4 hours or less. I also like that kind of thwomp effect that happens when the ANC kicks in after you put them in, and then there's like a 1-2 second delay and then all of a sudden it kicks in. I really like that. It's kind of strangely satisfying for some reason, rather than just being constantly active by the time you put it in your ear. Okay, so let's dive into transparency mode. So on the stem of the AirPods Pro, you can obviously press and hold it to activate transparency, so it lets in a lot of the external sound, a little bit like the effect if you were wearing the original AirPods that don't have any noise isolation or noise cancellation. They just sit in your ear canal. So transparency mode, I think, is one of those things that you're either going to really love and use it all the time, and I'm in the camp that I used it once or twice and I just found it kind of disorienting because the microphone is picking up the external sound to bring it in. I think it's useful if you're in a situation, if you are a person that never wants to take these out, you can just press and hold and activate transparency mode whenever you need it. But I like to take them out of my ears because sometimes after an extended use, they're not that comfortable for me. Again, I think this comes down to the design of your ears. Like the original AirPods that fit some people and didn't fit others, these are obviously going to be customizable a little bit more just because they have a couple of different size options to change out the tips. But for my ears, over an extended period of time, I do need to give them a little bit of a break. Now for workouts, I have used these a couple of times, but I actually end up going to a totally different pair of wireless earbuds just because they work better in my ears. I don't know, maybe I just get like super sweaty when I'm running or when I'm, doing a workout in the gym. these just tend to kind of loosen a little bit and fall out over time. So, you know, when I'm doing a 30-second plank or something and it just pops out, it's not really motivating to keep going because I'm like, no, my earbuds just fallen out. So for that reason, for my ears, the original AirPods actually suit a little bit better for running. Also, just because I get to hear a little bit more of that external sound. Transparency mode, as I said, is kind of hit and miss for me just because I find it a little bit disorienting, but maybe you love it and maybe it's really useful for you. So this is definitely down to the individual. I would love to know what you think about transparency mode too, so leave me a comment and let me know. However, for workouts, what I do love about these is that they are water resistant. So they have an IP rating, and it means that if you are super sweaty working out, they will be fine. I even tested it one step further by getting a bucket of water dumped on my head just to verify that they were still okay after that. Spoiler alert, they're totally fine. So let's talk about everything else, the features and connectivity. So connectivity-wise, obviously using an iPhone, I haven't found any extreme difficulties there. It's very seamless from the moment you pop open the case when you first get the buds to reconnecting to your device once you put them in the case. I think I can definitely count on one hand the number of dropouts that I've had between different ears. Say, for example, the right doesn't quite lock in, I have to put them back in the case and take them out again, but that's probably been maybe 2 to 3 times over the past 3 months, so nothing major at all. A lot of people will love the fact that there is voice-activated Siri on these, and that's great. I think I've used it maybe twice. Once for reading messages out loud when I have been unable to pull my phone out, such as on a workout when I was really expecting an important message to come through, and maybe once by accident. So I'm definitely not the best person to judge the value of this. I like that it's there. However, I'm just not a person that uses Siri. Sorry. And finally, let's talk battery life, because this is important. And for the most part, I'm finding that these are giving me just a little bit less than the official Apple ratings. So that's just on 5 hours with the active noise cancellation turned on when they're in your ears. I'm getting maybe around 4 hours, 45 minutes now after about 3 months of having used them. So are they worth $250? Well, I mean, that's what you're gonna have to pay for them, and that's the price of many other wireless buds in this kind of range with active noise cancellation. So here's the thing with the AirPods Pro that I've kind of come to realize. They don't do one thing amazingly. They do everything pretty darn well, and that is what you pay $250 for. You pay for decent sound across all musical styles. You pay for the good battery, you pay for the active noise cancellation. That is pretty good, and it does well on things where you really need active noise cancellation, like commuting or on a flight. And overall, the case itself, super compact. It actually, I think, is a little nicer to look at than the original AirPods case, which did look like dental floss. The one thing about the case, even though it does offer wireless charging, I just wish that it wasn't Lightning anymore, that it would be USB-C, just because Apple is moving towards USB-C on so many devices. Anyway, thank you for watching my impressions of the AirPods Pro after 3 months. I would love to know what you think. If you agree with anything that I have said about the AirPods Pro, what your experiences have been like, and what do you think about transparency mode and Siri? Because for me, I do not use them, but maybe for you, it's a totally different story. Thanks for watching, leave me a comment and make sure to subscribe.